Oh.
I'm wearing the same shirt I wore last time.
You do.
Damn it!
It's like
I washed it. I swear.
So it's like, yeah, it's like location changed, but the shirt's the same. So 1 week later, you're still wearing the same clothes.
We are live from one of the greatest rock and roll. This is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We are live from
the basement of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, obviously. This is where they keep this junk.
All the cool stuff.
It's like not a single noteworthy musician is in here anywhere.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! A little hurtful. Matter of fact, I got posters back in the background of Elvis.
Elvis, well, he's not present. Yeah, he's
Maybe.
not here. He is dead.
Welcome to NZI, which stands for
Neutral Zone Infraction.
Thank you.
Sean has a real hard time with spelling zone, so he just says NZI.
I do say NZI, and it comes off.
It makes it for somebody with kindergarten intellect. We're pretty proud that you're.
Why are you picking on kindergartners?
I'm picking on you.
Oh, I was gonna say, kids got feelings.
The kindergartner sitting there going, "Wait a minute, he is picking on us. I think I'm smarter than him."
I forgot to adjust my chair. Okay. Anyway, this
is all obviously our assistant did not take care of that.
No,
did they?
Damn it. This is a weekly show, and we are on show 3. And sometime I will put these on YouTube. I just haven't.
So we're going to be on show 3, and it's going to show up all in 1 week. So it'll be like,
well, I haven't done it yet.
Everybody watch.
Today's topic is.
I forget. No, it's players who had their careers cut short due to injury.
Yeah.
Who could have amassed many more yards, many more accolades.
Many more girls.
I'm sure they had plenty of those.
Much more money.
Much more money. They were probably robbed of a lot of money.
And I'm thinking maybe even a Hall of Fame trip.
A couple of them, I think, will lose Hall of Fame credentials because of it.
I will let you. We don't do we don't do order. I don't care about order.
I don't care about order. We're not real big on the stats.
1 through, people do the top 1 through 10. To hell with that. They're on a list. You can put them where you want. And if you don't like ours, I don't care. Yeah,
if you got a better player that should have been on this list. Who's a player that I wish could have had their career ended a little shorter.
Who's that?
Joe Montana. I wish his career would have been a lot shorter.
A lot, yeah.
Why couldn't Jim Marshall or what Marshall? Who's the guy that hit him? Some guy hit him hard. Why couldn't he have done that like 10 years earlier? Then we could have been saying the greatest mediocre quarterback of all time had his career cut short, and that would have been such a tragedy.
Well, if Joe Montana wanted to come and do our show,
if he does want to come and do our show and debate this, he will lose because we're going to edit him out.
Would you let him?
I would.
Okay.
I would let him, but then what we would do is whenever he's talking, we would put a voiceover of what we said, and basically it would just be Joe Montana sitting there. I am the greatest mediocre quarterback of all time, and I appreciate you noticing that I am the greatest mediocre quarterback of all time. Yes, that's right, Joe. We did notice that you are the greatest mediocre quarterback of all. We should just put a standee of him right there.
It says mediocre? Would he not be?
No, it's like we could because I don't think we'd be allowed to put the San Francisco 49ers.
Just put him in a regular helmet.
Just put him in
a little
something
poster,
that says,
or just something with his face on it, with under the term Webster's
We could put him in one of his
Dictionary.
Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl uniforms and just put.
Did he ever make?
mediocre.
I'm sure he made the Pro Bowl.
Oh, he made some Pro Bowls. It's like when you're the greatest mediocre quarterback.
Oh, Pro Bowl itself is mediocre.
So
cut short is basically what we're going with here. Now there are a lot, and maybe I should mention the ones that were cut short because of death.
Death.
To me, the number one, Pat Tillman, and he will be on another list I have. Sean Taylor, and I'm not looking at a sheet of paper, by the way. There's just something over there.
There's a bug? What?
There's a fly. And Jerome Brown. Those 3, and there are probably more, but anyway, those 3 were definitely cut short due to death, and that is the ultimate injury.
It is. That's one of those. We've not seen anybody recover from that injury yet. That one is
not that played in the NFL. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody died on the operating table for like 3 seconds and came back and had a stellar career.
There have been some careers that have died.
It's like.
And they came back. Plunkett's career died.
That's right. Plunkett's career died. He came back.
One person that isn't on this list that will be on this list, I think, in the future. For other people to debate would be Robert Griffin III.
Yeah.
We're very close.
RG3 will be someday on this list, I just believe. I just think too many injuries.
Yeah, so who do you go first? Who would you like to throw out there?
I'm going to go number 1. We're based in Denver. You know, so the 3 people that are watching us someday that will be also in Denver, so you'll know. Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Terrell Davis is one of those guys. He amassed about a little over 7,000 yards, had played about 7 seasons. He would have, I guarantee you, he would have easily gotten over 10,000 yards. And anymore, if you're going to get into the Hall of Fame, you've got to hit that 10,000 yard mark.
Although
to make that Hall of Fame.
You did say that list was rather long. I thought that was funny.
That list is long. There was, we did kind of look that up. There's 29 people that have rushed for over 10,000 yards, in their career, and that's that number seems very big for such a monumental number. But I think it also is comparable to, remember when 500 home runs was looked at as kind of the holy grail number to get you in the Hall of Fame. Now it's kind of looked at a little bit as a tainted number. I think 10,000 yards, I think eventually is going to be kind of a tainted number. I was just going
to say, damn those who don't. You know what? Steroids were a part of the game. That's another show.
Everybody was doing them at the time. Barry Bonds, best baseball player to ever live.
I love it. And not mediocre.
Best, pure athlete.
But that's another topic for another day. Okay, you know what?
He did not have his career was extended by steroids, I think.
And I would just like to say that, Lepkus rolled right up on him. I remember watching the game. Big, fat, 300-pound.
I remember Lepkus doing
Who was a decent offensive lineman.
Decent, but he wasn't great.
He wasn't good enough.
He's not even going to make it into the Ring of Fame.
And he wasn't good enough to be.
You remember he was
I have been told.
Yes.
Thank you. So basically, his brother, Shannon, the first Super Bowl he won, Sterling got the ring.
He did. That was very honorable.
Very.
Seeing as he also had, Shannon gets 3 of these things. And
back to back to back.
And Shannon Sharp, in my opinion, best tight end to ever play. But that's another topic. But. No, I totally agree with that.
So another one, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I am trying to move it along.
I am trying to move it. You're trying to keep me on task? You're trying to keep me on task?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to go with an offensive lineman. It's a pen. Send your orders forms to me. Tony Baselli. Tony Baselli is probably best known in Denver as the guy who has all the McDonald's, because if you ever go through the drive-thru, you will see Tony Baselli owns and operates this McDonald's, and he does. But he had his career shot. He was the premier of everything offensive lineman. If you were drawing up the plans for an offensive lineman, he was it.
Tony Baselli was considered at one time the best left tackle in football. And he was playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, protecting Brunell's blind side. But it's kind of weird. He's a left tackle. Brunell was a left-handed quarterback, so technically the right tackle would be protecting his blind side.
The whole world's got this screwed up. They probably don't even know who he is. And the left tackle is Tony Baselli's getting all this credit.
And it was the right tackle.
I'll bet you it's the right. This guy is amazing. He probably played 12 years, and Brunell was never sacked on that side. Oh my! We may have to look into this.
May have to. Tony Baselli, we may be over-ranking his career. Because technically, Mark Brunell was looking right at him, and I remember Mark Brunell scrambling a lot. So maybe Baselli was letting these guys through. So that might have to be rechecked.
We'll have to check into that.
Well, we should really research things.
We don't know. And you know what? I'm still going to put him on the list because research takes. We don't get paid.
You know what? That's what they could be for. They could tell us after the fact how we screwed up by putting your comments in the YouTube
section. I would like to
put comments. Tell us where we screwed up. That way, for future knowledge, we could either give you a big old middle finger.
And don't say you screwed up by doing the show, because I already thought way ahead of you on that.
Yeah, we beat you to that.
Yeah, totally. Okay, you know what? I'm going to mention. Well, I think I did mention. It's your turn, and I am a fair man.
So you are a fair man, but after Terrell Davis and Tony Baselli.
Well, you mentioned Edmonton.
Edman is one of those guys that I'm on the fence with because he came into the league and he really was supposed to be a very good defensive lineman.
He was a good one.
He was going to be just one of the best defensive linemen.
Came out of the Washington Huskies.
And he was great.
And
he just kept getting hurt.
Okay, first year. I mean, all the potential in the world. Was it his first year he got hurt?
Yep.
You know what? And I remember him getting hurt, and he was drafted by the Colts. And I remember what even is weirder. The next year, he's again, he's out there, and it happens again. And I remember him on the cart being wheeled, slamming his helmet down. No, it's done. So I'm going to say he is, because I think he showed potential, not in getting hurt. He hit that on the nose.
Yeah, he was great.
Great getting hurt.
But there was a Hall of Fame for getting injured. Him, Robert Griffin III, those two guys would be there. They would. I mean, Robert Griffin's already there, man.
But Edman, I have to put on that list because I do think he could have been special. And who's to say what would have happened with the Colts? They sucked after that. I do have Earl Campbell, and he's on there because that man, he was fun to watch run, man. He would, and if you think about it, he had to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the great teams. He had to play against the Browns, who had Brian Sipe and some really decent teams in that era.
They were decent, but nothing overly. And remember, they also had the Bengals in that division, and the Bengals were bad.
I didn't say anything about the Bengals.
Oh, but you're talking. He had 2 easy games a year that he could have rushed for.
The Bengals.
He could have rushed for 500 yards in each of those games and had 1,000 yards just in 2 games.
The Browns were good.
The Browns were average. They were mediocre.
Okay. Having said that, Earl Campbell, that one vision I have of him, he's running over a ram.
He is running over a ram.
And that was cool. And the helmet, the uniforms. By the way, they should do those tearaway uniforms again. It's really cool to watch a running back with the uniform flying and everything. That's kind of cool. I don't mean tearaway in the way that I think you're thinking. I mean in the way that...
I think that they should just make them so the uniforms can't come off ever. Just leave the I don't want the uniforms to come off. Maybe tearaway cheerleader uniforms I'd be good with.
That's really good. I hadn't thought of
it's
that.
It's like, that's something. That's another topic on another show, I think.
Like I wanted to do totally nude sports, and you wouldn't let me.
No, well, we're not. It wouldn't be totally nude because there are families there, so you can't do that. It would have to probably be down.
Anyway, another topic. I'm gonna say that Earl Campbell ran his ass off, and he was. Tim Foley of the Broncos, number 43, back in the 70s. Do you know what happened to him when he went to tackle Earl Campbell? He hit his helmet on Earl's thigh and got knocked out. Well, you can Google that.
The problem with Earl Campbell, the poor guy, they basically just ran him into this. The only place you could run him was the center of the line. So every single game, he probably did 25 to 30 carries a game because he was their offense. I think his quarterback at the time was, Dan Pastorini, maybe?
Yeah, it was
okay.
He wasn't on our list of mediocre, which makes him worse than mediocre.
He was worse than mediocre because Dan Pastorini doesn't make the list. So he was below mediocre. But Earl Campbell you hand the ball to him, he just goes smashing right there because he wasn't fast. So you couldn't send him around the edge.
I saw him run. I saw he was fast. He was faster than you think.
He was faster than an offensive lineman.
He was faster than you think.
Faster than I think. I'm not. I don't really think he's that fast. He's only slightly faster than us. I don't think he's fast. I think he was a big guy that was hard to tackle and bring down, but he always got run into the center of the line and beat up.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
Why are you doing this?
I don't know. I was watching rock videos. I was watching Motley Crue while I was cleaning the house.
Good job.
Yeah, it's stuck in my head. Okay, now, live concert, 89 Kansas City. Kind of cool. What I was going to say, I got 2 left. We got 2 left. We are a we. Well, not a we in that sense. We are individuals on a show who came up with a couple.
We are a team on this show.
Thank you. Billy Sims.
Billy Sims.
I'd forgotten Billy Sims. Ringing 4 years. Sorry. 40.
Wow, did your brain just stop for a second? I mean, you just kind of had this moment where you just the brain just all of a sudden just a synapse stopped firing and it was just like
I was distracted.
Were you rebooting? I mean, what was happening there?
Somebody distracted me out there.
Somebody distracted you. Okay.
Apparently there is a show going on out there that I have to witness.
I don't know. I think
really? You have to do that stuff in the middle of my show? Yeah. Thank you. So, what the hell is wrong with her? So, anyway, back to Billy Sims. Played 4 years. Drafted 1980, number 1 pick. Rookie of the Year. Pro Bowl 80, 81, 82. In 83, He took him to the playoffs, 82 and 83, and I say took him because I can't think of the quarterback he had to suck. And then he gets injured. And here's some things I didn't realize. We have Gale Sayers on the list. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. But Gale Sayers is on the list.
Well, we got a couple more running backs that are probably on this list.
Yeah, like I said, I was distracted. Gale Sayers is on the list. And Gale Sayers, they played pretty close to the same amount of games. And I did not realize that Sims rushed for more yards, had more TDs, and more receptions in the time he played versus what Gale Sayers had. That's wild.
Sims played, I think, fewer games
he did.
Than Gale Sayers. And Gale Sayers, I guess we're going to segue into Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers is in the Hall of Fame.
He is.
He didn't even rush for 5,000 yards.
No, he was.
But he was considered, at the time, he was considered one of the best running backs in the NFL.
He was. Well, and his career was...
But do you think his all-purpose yards helped him get there? Because he was a punt returner, a kick returner, he received out of the backfield.
Well, we looked, and he had, what, did they say 2,200?
He had 2,200 all-purpose yards.
You guys can do this stuff too. You just hit Google and a person.
We edited Wikipedia to make it seem right for us so that we could have the debate.
Yeah, and then all you had to have is a camera and you do your own thing.
That's right.
But
we have our own wiki page.
But Gale Sayers said he had 2,200 yards rookie season all-purpose. All-purpose. That's amazing in 65, 66, somewhere in there.
You're talking 14 games. You're not even talking the full 16-game season.
And passing, and that is amazing. And I'm sure they didn't pass a lot, but they definitely, all like you just said, kick return, punt return. And we all know he had the, 6 touchdowns in the one game, in the mud or something
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it was not a pretty game.
Way before you were born.
It was before I was born. I never got to watch Gale Sayers play. I've never even seen the movie Brian's Song.
I did see it. It was sad.
Yeah, see, and that's why I don't want to watch it.
It'll make you cry. You'll cry.
So that's why I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, you don't want to watch it. It sucks. It's a good movie. If you like to cry, watch it. Along with Armageddon and Saving Private Ryan.
You know what? I didn't cry at Armageddon.
How could you not cry at the end?
I didn't cry at Armageddon. Okay, that's off topic. Okay. But
it is off topic. Number one. The number one.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson, and the thing that we sometimes forget about this guy, and I think it's because so much time has passed, we've kind of forgotten about.
It was 20 years ago?
It was 20 years ago. You're talking about, he was a Heisman Trophy winner at Auburn. He went to play baseball. He was great at baseball, but that's what he wanted to play. He played football part-time for 3 years.
He only played 3 years. And he did play a little longer with the Royals.
He did, because the hip injury didn't really hinder him as much in that sport.
Remember breaking the bat?
Oh, he could break a bat easier than anybody. He was just so strong.
And the thing is, I mean, it's amazing how good he would have been as a baseball player. Probably he could have been. He would have been Hall of Fame baseball, Hall of Fame football. Because Hall of Fame football, if he could have played maybe 8 years, even part-time with the stats he was putting up, probably would have been pretty... And baseball on. That's my alarm that says the show is over. But, as you know,
Poor Bo, you've lost out on any more time because the show is now done.
But I hit dismiss, and we'll talk a little more about you. Because you deserve that. Because I remember this. Bo knows baseball. Bo knows football. Bo knows hockey.
Bo knows basketball.
Bo knows basketball. He doesn't know soccer because that's not a sport. That's an activity.
That's right. Bo don't know soccer.
But Bo doesn't do alarms.
I'm sure Bo's used an alarm in his day.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's used it.
Why?
I don't know.
What's he got to get up for?
I'm sure he had a Saturday he needed to wake up early for something. He used an alarm.
Shook him. I bet somebody shook him. Wake up!
It's like, wake up, Bo. Yeah, I don't need
Anyway, he does live... last I heard, he lived in Chicago. I remember that because when I was living in Chicago, I think he was there. I thought we had that in common. Thought it was a big bond. Walter Payton was there, too.
Wow. It's like if the celebrity has been anywhere in the same state as Sean, he thinks that they're...
it's a bond.
It's a bond.
In L.A.
So yeah.
We bought our band.
I'm starting to wonder, does Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn know that you have a bond? Maybe Goldie Hawn needs to know you have a bond.
At her age, she'd be a cougar.
She would be a cougar, but she's as old as you, though, isn't she?
Whoa, older. She just looks way
Wouldn't be a cougar. She'll only be like a couple years older than you.
She's quite a bit older, but she looks a lot better. What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's like Cougars. There's not an NFL team called the Cougars.
There should be.
There should be.
And you know what they should have? cheerleaders in their 50s.
Oh wow.
Are we,
It's
are
like,
we in trouble? Can I get in trouble with that?
You might get in trouble with that. I don't know.
You didn't call them the MILFs. I mean...
Yeah, see, there you go. Just make it worse. Make it worse, John. Just keep digging that grave for yourself. Just, I don't know how the heck you're in the hole and you're putting dirt on top of yourself.
Cougars would be a great name.
It would be a great name.
I thought the Colorado Rockies should be called the Colorado Cougars.
That was one of the names that was one
and
of
it
the
should have been
finalists.
because the Rockies were a hockey team.
And the Rockies are also just a giant mountain range, and they're not very intimidating if you were to face them. I mean, let's face it, I can walk into the mountains.
What if it's snowing? Donner Party thought the same thing. May not have been the Rockies.
Donner Party, they should have just been afraid of their own selves, their stomachs. They were hungry. Dead people everywhere.
Anyway, that's it for NZI today, this third
week.
show. Thank you for watching, all three of you. Comments, let's keep them...
Productive.
Constructive. Constructive.
Lots of ifs. No destructive. We don't need to be hated any more than we already are, pretty much.
Unless you're a Joe Montana fan, then go
Joe
ahead.
Montana fans, you can say whatever you want, because
you
I'm not going to even pay attention anyway. I'm just going to consider you low intelligence.
Before I go, I was going to say, I did have a bond with Elway in a sense. I bought the van at John Elway. And I even asked him, don't I get a football with this? I thought I would get like a signed football or something. I thought that was crap.
Yeah, no, you probably would get a signed football from Matt Lepsis. So.
Oh, the guy that ran over.
Yeah, the guy that ran over Terrell Davis. So.
Okay, well, we're out. I'm going to get up now and hit the button.
Hit the button. We're done.
And thank you for participating.